please do click and then the alerts button, which is the little bell beside it, because then every time we go live, you'll get a little notification. So hope you're well. A few things to talk about today. First of all, we're all getting jabs, all of us over 50 anyway, apparently. I think it's a really crucial time. I mean, for me, I was just saying to a colleague, this is really the first day of the autumn season, don't you think? I mean, in terms of the weather, you know, it's miserable, it's raining, well, at least here in SW16 it is. And I just feel like this is a real acid test now for, are we going to get another wave? How is it going to be? How severe? Will we be protected enough? You know, because now is the time when everybody's going to be, you know, in those smaller spaces, indoors, less ventilation, less circulation. So I think we need to be more careful than ever. And I'm glad they're rounding out a next range of jabs for children and for us over 50s as well, because more protection the better as far as I'm concerned, because the one thing we need to stop is another round, because as far as the market's concerned, the market's strong right now. But it's strong because the pandemic is easing. If that changes, so will the market quite rapidly, and everything else come to that. So first of all, before anything else, when we talk about the market, we're at the mercy of the pandemic, and let's hope we've seen the worst of that so far. Number of new articles this week in the press. This is an article in the Telegraph from Knight Frank, and they're saying the number of new buyers has soared. And certainly this is something we're experiencing as well. Around 24% more people registered as prospective new buyers in August than the 5-year average, they say. The number of offers made was almost a third higher than normal levels, even though Ms. has cut back the savings on offer from June. It took only an average of 111 days for an offer to be agreed on a property in the first 8 months of 2021, down from 128 in the same period of 2019. 111 days. I'd be very disappointed if it took us that long to get an offer for you, but I suppose it just goes to show different agents, different circumstances. Snap figures prepared by Knight Frank for the first 5 days of September showed that the number of valuation appraisals were a 10th higher than the same period over 2019. However, they're a quarter lower than in 2020 when the stamp duty holiday was in full effect. Oh yeah, I mean, this is what we're finding. I've said for a long time now that those transactions of people moving this year, many have been front loaded. They've taken advantage of the offer earlier in the year to grab that 15K on offer. And so we have to expect a lower volume market the second half of this year. But this means there's intense competition. There really is for any properties that are around. And certainly we're finding multiple bids. You know, we've got one property at the moment where literally the bids are cascading on us like the rain, frankly, which is great for our client on the one hand. But on the other hand, it presents a problem because, of course, only one person can get it. The others will lose out. And that's frustrating for everybody. And that's a symptom, I'm afraid, of a market with a lack of supply. Another article I spotted this week in the Law Gazette, not that I read this regularly, but I did like the look of this one. This is complained about conveyancers to pay more for ombudsman. This is good news. The conveyancers who receive the most complaints will pay a bigger share of the levy to the legal ombudsman. This is good news because it means your complaints mean something. Because what we found over the pandemic is many conveyancers have been next to useless. And there have been some brilliant ones out there, and there have been some that have worked so hard, and my hat's off to you if you're one of those. But so many of them have been so poor over the pandemic. And the Council for Licensed Conveyancers said it wants to strip out the cost of complaint service from the practice fees and recharge firms based on their complaint numbers. Seems fair. All legal regulators currently pay towards the cost of the ombudsman through contributions from their respective firms split equally. In the first move of its kind, the CLC has applied for a rule change that splits the levy into two parts, a basic fee that everyone pays, and then a usage fee based on the number of cases and complaints that have been accepted for review. Interesting and good news. It might give us a better quality service. I certainly hope so. Now, energy efficiency. This is a big topic, a real raw nerve for landlords right now, because they're talking about bringing in 2025 a minimum requirement of energy efficiency C for all rented property. Now, at the moment, it's not enshrined in law. It's being debated through Parliament, but it's interesting. And I noticed an article on this, and basically it reads, the government's plan to make rented homes greener is causing concern and confusion among landlords. And this is from This Is Money, by the way. It wants to enforce a compulsory energy performance certificate rating of C on new tenancies by the end of December 2025, and on all rented properties by 2028. So if you've got a tenant in place at that time, then you'll have until 2028 to make it happen. However, This Is Money reported that 1/3 of landlords were not confident they'll be able to get their properties up to code. There were scores of different reasons. Some said they're unable to afford them, which include things like replacing gas boilers, improving insulation, changing windows and doors. Others did not want to evict tenants in order to carry out major works, although some thought they would just struggle to make any return on the investment. Many too were reluctant to start making preparations because they felt the government had not made clear exactly what's required of them, and they did not want to waste time and money on improvements until they had more information. Basically what they're saying is that you need to do as much as you can to get your property's energy efficiency rating up. 2025, you've got 4 years until it comes in, and then you have another 3 years if you've got a tenant in situ. But even so, a worry for many landlords. My view is that if they bring this in, we'll see the biggest exodus of UK landlords that we've ever seen in modern times. And that will be a huge problem for the government, because the private landlord represents a significant slice of the overall market now. And there are many good professional private landlords that are sitting on wads of cash in terms of equity. And if you make it too difficult for them to rent property and make a profit, they will simply sell. And with an undersupply of properties, those properties will be gladly snapped up by waiting buyers. And that will leave you with a rental sector that is decimated. I don't think that was the intention of this legislation. So I think they need to be a bit more gentle in their approach. And it's going through the House of Parliament at the moment. My guess is, the House of Commons rather, my guess is that it will be watered down, because if it's not, it will have a significant impact on the market. But it'll be interesting to see. In terms of the market generally, still lacking new instructions. Generally, the market we see in SW16, we're doing well, I'm pleased to report, but we're doing well on thinner volume. So we're getting a larger slice of a smaller pie. And it does look like we're going to be restricted on the number of new homes coming to market in the next few months, which is a frustration for many, I know. On the rental side, very little available. Tenants are staying put. Rents are being pressured already. Can you imagine if landlords start to exit the sector because of the new C requirement, where there are a D or an E, and maybe there's a 10 or 20,000 investment requirement, as opposed to selling and maybe making a substantial profit? So it really could throw a big spanner in the works of UK rental property market, and could be a huge problem for people. But it remains to be seen. We'll wait and see. But as usual, sometimes they band about this legislation without thinking about the broader implications. We've seen that before, haven't we? So apart from that, hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching. We'll be back same time tomorrow. Please do remember to like, share and comment. Like to know you're here and we're not just staring into space here. And we'll be back same time tomorrow with another Ken at 10. Until then, stay safe. Have a fantastic day. Ciao, folks.